As we have been discussing these values, especially when we talk about shaucham, the cleanness, the purity, so which we discussed both external and internal. And once we try to highlight on external, then internal, in the process also in between comes that oral cleanness, which we talk that maintaining your words. And interestingly, when a person maintains this shaucham, definitely the person will not like to involve in things unnecessarily. And interestingly, we say that with shaucham, the mind becomes clear, calm, and will be receptive of wisdom. Whereas when the mind goes through this phase of ashaucham, so that means that time the person becomes restless, mind becomes clouded and crowded. That's why we have certain things called ashaucham for different purposes. For example, when somebody passes away who is related to you, same blood relationship, so we have few days, for example 12 days, especially 9 days, 10th day, then 11th day starts karyam. So up to 12 days that we, in fact the person who does everything is not allowed to go out, because this asaucham continues. Same thing also when a child is born, that 6 days also is asaucham, and especially parents, they go through a little longer time, because when a jiva comes in, new jiva is being born in your family, you do not know who is that fellow, with what karma is coming, better maintain certain things. How? Also, these are called natural or shaucham, means opposite of shaucham, okay? That one goes through this sort of stages even if you are clean, because that atmosphere, that is a morning days we say. And also, especially when the country goes through certain person's death, national, all this, they declare 2 days, 3 days. And you can see that how the country, if the great leader passes away, something goes, how the country feels sometimes. And also, with reference to any asaucham, including especially we call for women masika dharma, that monthly cycle. So that also comes under asaucham. So that's why the mind becomes restless, mind becomes clouded, crowded. That's why we don't allow the person to do anything. That's why a lot of rules and regulations are there, even though nowadays people don't follow. Let me not get into that either. However, here the point is that if shaucham is not followed strictly, clearly, definitely stairyam will not come. So stairyam means sthira bhava iti. So when you say sthira bhava, that means here you can say the stability, and especially you can use the physical stability, because then will come Atma Vinigraha, you can take as mental stability. So when we talk about Stairyam, you can see for yourself that when your body and mind is pure, you will be able to sit for longer time. That's why this puja, japa, pranayama, etc. are being done after snanam. So once the snanam is being done, after snanam, if the person does this puja, japa, etc., so the person will be able to stabilize one's own posture for a length of time. Because if the person keeps changing the posture, becomes restless, so that means there is some impurity in the person, both externally and internally. So here, when you see this Stairyam, we have many points, especially in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where it has been highlighted how to sit down. Samokaya Grivasirahiti. So that means what? At least your spine must be erected. The chin should be parallel to the ground, not or do you understand? So all neck exercise, head exercise, hand exercise, every exercise except, your mind exercise, keeping the mind open, okay? There's nothing you want it to enter. However, problem is yours, nothing to talk. So this Stairya Bhava, to maintain, you need to be stiram. That's why asanam, stiram sukham asanam. Try to sit in a posture for length of time without any movement. But problem is, all other time you are a human being. When you start meditation, you become a monkey. How the monkey is restless, keeps moving, keeps watching, keeps imitating. So also, when you decide to meditate, you become another monkey. And when monkey meditates, what will happen? You know better. So here, very nicely says that Stairyam has to be part of my life. Because number one, most important thing is, the stability comes by understanding. But to understand, I have to be stable. So you have to understand very carefully. It is like in a relationship. So in a relationship, to become stable, like to have stable relationship, you have to trust. And unless the relationship is stable, you cannot trust. So that is how we say apuryamanam achalam pratishtham. In second chapter we have seen this. Without understanding oneself, that I am everything, the stability will not come. That's why we say the ocean is stable. It doesn't cross its boundary. For ocean doesn't have boundary, whereas river and everything has got its boundary. Imagine. But the ocean doesn't cross its limits because it knows what? Fullness. So because of the vastness of fullness, the ocean is stable. Thank God. Imagine if the ocean behaves like a river, what will happen? So today, now I am in Alaska, let me come to India. Now I think India is over. Now let me go to, Australia. I think it's not necessary in few weeks. In one day, I think ocean can complete all of us, okay? Don't worry. However, here he says that stharyam comes because of understanding, but to have understanding, we need to have basic stability. And to lead to that, we highlight Atma Vinigraha. Because, remember, stharyam and Atma Vinigraha both go together. You can say one is external, other one is internal. So if you want to say, especially Atma Vinigraha is nothing but mastery over one's own mind, one's own sense organs, or you can say mastery over one's own impulses. And this Atma Vinigraha will be able to help you to regulate desires, emotions, actions in alignment with dharma and situation. Whereas, if the Atma Vinigraha is not there, that means there is lacking of stharyam, and of course again lacking saucham, then acharya upasanam, then arjamam kshanti, amanitvam, adambhitam, ahimsa. You can go back. And when we look at this two together, we very carefully say, when there is Atma Vinigraha, of course presupposed by this stharyam, definitely the person will be free from anxieties. Because if you observe, why do have anxiety? So anxiety is nothing. It is overthinking. It is exactly like when you drive the car and car starts overheating. Have you ever observed this? And when car overheats, for example's sake, those days I am talking, nowadays things have changed because everything computer will come, everything will be displayed. So those days there will be heater, okay? So we'll be pulling out. And especially, so if you pull that heater out, what will happen? Just example sake, I'm saying, the car will be overheated after some time and you have forgotten to stop. Now when car overheats, what happens? In fact, without your accelerator, car keeps moving. Have you ever observed this scene? Without applying accelerator, car keeps moving. So you will be restless. What is happening? Without my knowledge, car keeps moving. Me doing anything. So that means what? You will get into panic. This is called panic attack. So this overthinking person, and why overthinking comes, we'll see some other time. So a person who thinks too much, improportional, definitely that person will have this sort of problem. And this anxiety, when it comes because of this reason, now because of Stairya and Atma Vinigraha both put together, I'll be able to manage my anxiety. And secondly, also that I'll be able to focus on a given subject matter. So this is improving my decision making faculty. Because if you observe, most of the time that we do make decisions, but after some time we fluctuate. Because we have different datas, we have different informations, and to that our insecurities, whatnot, gets added. Now I change my decision. And when I change my decision, what happens? That moment I manage, I escape. But in the process, my decision making faculty becomes weaker. Have you not observed that? So here he says, because of Stairyam and Atma Vinigraha, definitely the decision making faculty remains intact. And moreover, because of this reason, there is confidence. Because if we observe the stability in my thinking and in my action, in between speech, that only gives me stability. So what I am thinking, especially my thoughts are not fluctuating. There is a proper flow of thoughts. There is a direction of my thoughts, not randomly comes here and there. And once I see there is a flow of thoughts, there is a direction. Now in keeping with thought, I start responding through speech or action, or and action, both way, or and action. Now as my thinking process has its own flow, so also my speech, also my activities will have a pattern. And when this pattern is being followed strictly, automatically I become confident. So the confidence comes because of this reason. Now that is also being maintained. And because of that reason, I start building up my self-trust and courage. Then once this happens, there will be inner peace. Can you see this? How this Stairya goes to Atma Vinigraha. So the inner peace is nothing but handling, managing my inner conflict. Because all the time there is inner conflict which does not allow me to manage, to face external chaos. In fact, because internally I am chaotic, externally also I create that. Or if I don't create, I'll be dragged to that situation. And here he says, look, once I start looking at my way of thinking, putting them in order, slowly what I discover? Slowly I discover that I am in a position to face my external chaotic situations. And because of this reason, that I am calm, the serenity comes. So this is what to be done. So one has to be really careful. Very nicely somebody said that it is very rare to find a monkey falling down from a tree. Or a bird falling down from any tree. Why? Because the bird doesn't have any confidence in the tree or bark or this branch of the tree, but the bird has confidence in its wing. So also monkey doesn't have confidence in the branches of any tree, but it has its own strength, confidence in art of jumping. That's why I have seen, observed, especially as a child when we used to chase monkeys, like cornering monkeys. They will climb up such a big tree and will try to corner. The fellow will jump in such a way. We thought, okay, gone, but nothing will happen. Jumps one, that breaks, nothing happens, again balances. Because monkey has its confidence in art of jumping. So here also same thing, that when the person is able to do this Stairyam and Atma Vinigraha put together, definitely that person will be a different person altogether. Then if this two happens, what is to be done? He says, look, first of all, if the person follows these two, there will be discipline. In fact, if there is lack of discipline, person will not have these two. And of course, also, if these two are there, there will be a person can create harmony in the society. So if there is disharmony in the society, again because of lack of these two. And of course, when you are very poor in your decision making, again it is because of lack of these two. Okay, I am just putting opposite way today. And moreover, if emotionally you are unstable, and of course, if you are restless for no reason or for small things, again because of these two. That's why what is to be done? Spend some time to look at these aspects that is really bothering you and learn to manage. That's why make sure let my mind be calm and well focused, and let it be peaceful too, so that I can have my own strength to face anything that I come across in my life. Whereas, if I don't do that, it is very easy that my mind will be restless, I will be unstable, and of course, I will become a vulnerable person, full of negativity, and because of negativity, definitely my decision making faculty will lead to make me poor decisions. And once I make poor decisions, not only there will be social disharmony, also later on I will have sense of regret. So when these are the consequences, now tell me, what choice do I have? That's why better to take care of this Stairyam and Atma Vinigraha. With this, I am stopping.